I want to give you some context as to why we invited Jeff this time from the Miracle of the Hudson to our Illumination Summit. And for this, I want to introduce our founder and CEO, Ricardo Villadiego, RV, because he has a particular story about how this came about.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
All good, all good. So, RV, I thought it was important for us to share with our audience how this came about, because we had a soccer player, we've had a tennis champion, we've had a poker pro player and best-selling author in previous Illumination Summits. So I want to know, and I think we could share with the audience, what triggered the idea of having a pilot this time? How did it come about?
That's right. That's right. We're going in a very different direction this time on this Illumination Summit. I'm going to tell you the story, right? And the story is deeply connected in the very foundation of Lumu. I think it all started when I sold my first company and I had more time in my hands. I always have had a curiosity for airplanes and flying, and I decided to give it a go and learn how to become a pilot. And so I enrolled into a program to become a pilot. And then airplanes are fantastic machines, right? I'm oversimplifying here, but one of the things that makes me the most about these machines is that every airplane has a ground speed upon which the airplane is ready to fly. And again, I'm oversimplifying here, but as pilots, we focus on getting the plane to that speed when we're taking off, and that plane will fly. Now, landing is a very different story. It requires a bit more of exacting handling. And I remember my flying instructor telling me, Ricardo, you had to become proficient at landing. And as the audience already figured it out, English is now my first language. And the word proficiency doesn't translate naturally to my first language. So I asked David, my flying instructor, what do you mean by proficient? And he went on saying, well, man, if you take off a plane, you need to make sure that you land that plane. Otherwise, you're gonna get yourself killed. And you have to land that plane 100% of the time. He even went a little bit more to stress the point and saying, imagine that you go to the airport, you walk to the gate where you're gonna board a plane that's gonna take you to the city to where you're heading today. And the monitor on that gate says that the pilot of that plane can only land 98% of the time. Would you board that plane? And then that thought stuck in my head, right? And I started translating proficiency into cybersecurity. And I translate that into the ability to defend our organizations 100% of the time. So at least to control the impact that cybercrime has in our companies 100% of the time, so that we can prevent the catastrophic effect of attacks, a breach, a ransomware incident, and so on and so forth. In recent aviation, there's probably no better example of proficiency than the Miracle of the Hudson. And water landing enables 320 in the middle of the Hudson is far from being ideal. But that day, proficiency saved lives. And I think there's no better person to share that story, the man that was right in the cockpit that day. That's why we invited Jeff Skiles to join the Illumination Summit today.